listen to the dog. He's crazy. He knows what's waiting for you here. Come on in.
Crazy Dog. Crazy Dog Audio Theatre presents The Silver-Tongued Devil, a documentary of poetry, pretension, and possession.
Diabolic Playhouse, stimulating audio theatre from Crazy Dog.
I am the devil with the silver tongue. I am the devil with the silver tongue. On the wind pulled in by the winter tide, on the stony lip of the sea's stripped bride, first fingertip to fingertip, closer we slide.
Hello, I'm Eddie Merkin, investigative reporter with Public Radio National in Washington. It is hard to believe that 15 years ago, this unique tone poem was #1 in the charts. I am the devil with the silver tongue. The mystical being behind the words and voice of this monumental creation was an Irish poet the world came to know as the Silver-Tongued Devil. Hearing that voice and those words changed my life and the lives of so many others, and it continues to change and inspire lives today.
We hadn't really discovered what it was to really kind of find ourselves kind of, sexually until we started listening to his poetry.
I've gone through quite a few of the CDs. I keep wearing them out. I'm on my 4th or my 5th one now, I need to listen to it every day. Every day.
I carry it around with me like the Bible.
I have it in my head. I've recited it. I know it all the time. It just
Every
plays
word.
and plays again like a mantra in my head.
Silver-tongued devil. The silver-tongued devil.
Silver-tongued devil.
It just blows my mind, Silver-tongued devil. Oh!
But and everyone, everybody in our group says they feel the same, but it's a really personal experience. It's just like, I don't know, you can't even, so profound, you can't even describe it.
I was encompassed in this voice, and it had taken me as well. I can't describe it. And from that moment on, he was a part of my life.
I am the devil with the silver tongue.
I mean, he is the ideal man. I mean, there's no way about it. You know what I mean? No one will ever be like him, ever.
I suppose not.
No, never.
I suppose not.
No, never.
It's just so powerful. It's beyond words. It's just like, you're there and he's there as well, and although he's not there, he's there, he's inside you. It's just totally inside you.
And I mean, we do listen to him every time we have sex.
Yeah. I mean, I can't remember, not listening to him, to be honest. I don't think it'd be the same. I think it'd be quite boring.
I don't think so.
Don't think so?
I don't think so.
We're heading a group, the STD .com is our website, but it's STD. It's our own little group that we set up in college, dedicated to
Silver-tongued devil.
Yeah.
Silver-tongued devil.
And seduction by the sea.
Yeah.
There remains something undeniably magical about the Silver-Tongued Devil. The power and influence he has exercised over so many lives is nothing short of mystical.
There's something about listening to his voice and the words, but you read them and then there's something deeper, something more profound, isn't that it? There's something that goes, you can feel him inside you.
Oh yeah, I can feel him inside me.
I play the CD, and I know this sounds a bit strange, but I find myself walking around the house naked. And
Yes.
it's like,
Even with clothes on, I'm naked.
When I listen to the Silver-Tongued Devil, it's literally like being in a flotation tanker.
Yeah, exactly.
Except not floating on top, but being submerged within it.
And it's like you're floating on the words.
I've even got a silver tongue tattoo, actually, on my left buttock.
Oh.
And when the needle penetrated me, I felt the power of his poetry
Can I see?
entering my bloodstream. Yeah, my fate with STD was sealed.
Oh. It's a nice tattoo.
the Silver-Tongued Devil, of course, spoke, and oh my God, I mean, all your senses are so heightened, and he creates this aura and this. God.
It's not even aura. It's like it's inside you. You know. It's an insular thing. It's just kind of it brings out something in everyone and something different in everyone as well.
Absolutely.
Like a stupendous firework display, the career of the Silver-Tongued Devil, though resoundingly spectacular, was also short. Very, very short. For in just 1 year, he went from an unknown young man in the People's Republic of Cork, the true capital of Ireland, to becoming the most celebrated poetic voice of an entire generation, winning every literary award imaginable, recording an international #1 hit concept album, and then, just as quickly as he burst into our consciousness and upturned the designer furniture of our lives, he disappeared.
I am the devil with the silver tongue.
I kind of have this personal tie to him. My parents' parents were from Cork, where, as you guys know, that's where he's from too. I mean, I guess all the Cork people like interbred or something. So, well, I'm definitely related to him then, and I just thought, as a relative of his, I have to be there and support him when he finally shows his face again.
People say he's dead, but he's not. He's out there somewhere, and I mean, I'd know if he was dead. I could feel it.
And Silver-Tongued Devil, if you're out there, we don't believe you're dead. Come back to us.
Yeah, come back to us.
Come back. Save us.
Yes.
You have saved us. We want you to write more. We want you to talk more.
And was that you and Super Quinn in Swords?
We love you, Silver-Tongued Devil.
Seriously, was it?
It's been a decade and a half since the Silver-Tongued Devil was seen in public. Where has he gone? What is he doing? And above all, why? Why was his influence so great? Why did he change the course of history? Why did he disappear? And though this is not a why, but a what is the truth behind the rumors of his supernatural gifts? This program traces the career of the Silver-Tongued Devil and seeks to answer these questions and uncover the truth beneath the magical spell of his poetry.
I am the devil with the silver tongue.
The career of the Silver-Tongued Devil began many years ago in Cork, a small city lodged like a verruca in the foot of Ireland.
Many people refuse to believe this now, and they laugh at me. But I know that in the beginning he was just Finbar Lynch.
Jerry Murphy, author of Tall Thin Girl Running Forwards, a book of poems for Sonia O'Sullivan.
Finbar's a very common name, like Gubnet, Theor, Reginald, Publius, Jehoshaphat.
I see. So you believe that at the beginning he was just...
He's just another poet. You see, in Cork, like, everyone's a poet. It's always been that way. I don't know. I think it's the fabled waters of the Lee.
Right. So poetry is important.
No, I'm sure in Cork there's always poetry everywhere, like. Pouring down like rain, only not as wet. So at that time, because Cork was depressed and sad, poetry readings would take place wherever they could. In people's homes, in pubs, beside the chippers, in the chippers, on the way home from the chippers, and so on and on.
Right. And I understand it was all very serious.
Oh, deadly serious. In Cork, poetry's like the World Cup. Or the Olympics and the Pope coming to Ireland, all combined like.
Really?
Oh yeah, and the poet himself then is king. Unless it's a woman poet, in which case...
Well, she's a queen then.
Yes, or a princess if she's an old doll like.
Right. Well, that is how much poetry is valued in Cork.
And not just Cork, but most of Ireland as well, with the exception of Donnybrook. It goes back to the Celts.
The Celts?
Oh yeah, the Celts and their Celtic way of Celtic life. A genuine Celtic poet is feared and respected because of our link with the other world.
Other world?
It's a Celtic thing.
I see.
See, there's nothing more stinging or painful than having a Celtic poet write satiric verse about you.
Now, speaking of painful, these satires, they could sometimes be...
What about them?
Well, I'm told they could also be quite... Well, I'm told they could also be quite physical.
All right, that's true. we'd be going along to a reading of, say, the Blackpool poets, or up to the Snobs in Montenotte, and you know, maybe there were experimentations with middle-class blank verse, and if there was, you know, a bad line or a faulty meter or poor word choice, we'd laugh, you know, we'd laugh and slag them like mercilessly, throw rhyming couplets at them, and hurl a jibe lyric, you know, yeah. or if it got serious, we'd bash them with lumps of tarmac at them and stones.
Right. So anyway, it was in this hothouse environment with this festering compost of poetry that Finbar, as you believe he was then known, began.
Yeah.
And what was he like?
Shite.
I'm sorry?
Complete shite. That's why no one can believe he was the Silver-Tongued Devil. Because, you know, he'd come along with his flaming red hair and bad skin to the Long Valley Bar, have a salad sandwich and a glass of Murphy's, and come out with just the greatest load of shite ever. Humphrey Moynihan wouldn't even let him sign the book, he was so bad. A fellow Corkman as well. Can you imagine that, like?
Now, you say he had red hair.
Yeah, flaming red, like a ripe cherry breasting on a baboon's bottom, glistening crimson in the morning sun.
That's kind of poetic. You know. But anyway, the Silver-Tongued Devil, he had silver white hair.
No, that came later on. You know, when he changed into the Silver-Tongued Devil. At the beginning, it was red.
When you say he was still Finbar.
Yes. Then it wasn't too long after that the Trifle Arts Centre began their series of Sound as a Bell Works, evenings of poetry and performance art.
Right, and this was big.
Oh, very big. Very, very big. The Sound as a Bell Works shows packed the place. Every seat in the Trifle Arts Centre would be packed with people as well. And you know, in those days, you know, you didn't need to have a single well up the charts or 3 or 4 best-selling books of poetry like you do now, you know.
Right. And did this Finbar Lynch appear at any of these performance and poetry art happenings things?
He did, yeah. Once. And he was shite. What? You don't believe me? Just go back over the Sound as a Bell tapes and hear for yourself.
What, there are recordings?
Of course. This is Cork, bye. We record everything.
Despite the prestige, power, and his palatial mansion afforded him as Poet Laureate of Cork, Jerry Murphy remains very much alone in his belief that somehow Finbar Lynch and the Silver-Tongued Devil were one and the same.
You know this guy, Jerry Murphy?
Yes.
I consider myself, you know, the lesser, because I'm just Jerry Murphy.
Like most poets, the lesser Jerry Murphy dismisses Jerry Murphy's theories about the Silver-Tongued Devil.
For Murphy to come along and say that he was a single, you know, he went through some sort of transformation and became the Silver-Tongued Devil, I mean, there's no way we would have believed him. Like, it was just too much. This guy was talentless.
Despite his dismissal of Murphy's belief in some kind of magical transformation of Finbar Lynch, the lesser Jerry Murphy does recognize there was something supernatural about the Silver-Tongued Devil's charisma.
In his presence and listening to the voice, it was just, I don't know, some people talk about Hitler had this sort of charisma that, you know, people talk about women fainting at his speeches, and there's, you know, there must have been some element of that there with the Silver-Tongued Devil.
Right. So some kind of magical, nefarious even, some kind of demonic power he had, possibly?
Yeah, possibly, because, I mean, there was no way to explain it afterwards. You know, it was afterwards, as I was saying, you know, you were sort of slightly embarrassed by the fact that you were carried away to that extent. You're saying, what happened, you know?
Right.
Was there something in the water?
Something in the water. And to this day, he's still very much an icon in Cork.
Oh yeah, and if you listen, and the funny thing is, if you listen to the recordings, it still has the same, not as strong now as a live performance, but the recordings still have that sort of power to sort of shift you to one side, and you're saying, "Fuck it, it still works," you know.
Fortunately, the Trifle Arts Centre, aware of its central role in modern history, maintains extensive archive recordings of every Sound as a Bell Works program, thus preserving this precious legacy for all humankind. For indeed, my investigations led me to an unassuming cassette tape from 15 years ago. In the rare script of a sober Corkman, scrawled on the cover is a listing of poets who appeared that fateful evening. Near the bottom appears the name Finbar Lynch, next to which someone had written, "Shite." Here is a segment of that performance featuring the inauspicious beginnings of the young Finbar Lynch, who Jerry Murphy believes was somehow to become the Silver-Tongued Devil. Please excuse the poor sound quality of this rare historic recording.
You Irish people are crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a big hand for the Berserker Symbiosis Ensemble?
Come on, Danny, bring on the board.
All right, come on.
Look, get the board on, will you?
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Finbar Lyons, Finbar Lynch. Finbar Lynch, just speak into the microphone there.
Sorry. Love by Finbar Lynch. That's me.
Go on! Get out of
Okay, so when the moon is stark and the sun is bright, then the night is dark and the day is light.
Spare us this Lord, Stephen!
I'm not pleased. I
Oh, jeez, I remember that night.
Jerry Murphy.
We broke the tape recorder that night and all the criticism. Actually, we broke the recorders every night. And later then, when video came in, we broke those as well. Now, of course, it's all digital and those are very easy to break. I think it was a week later then that he was back, only no one knew it was him but me. He was completely changed. He looked different, he sounded different, and well, you know, the rest is history.
But if Jerry Murphy is correct, who was this young man destined to become the Silver-Tongued Devil, then known simply as Finbar Lynch?
Finbar was a lad working on the roads for the county council.
This is Senior Cork County Council Supervisor Garrod O'Leary.
He worked for the county council and therefore spent many years meditating and reflecting and playing cards all along the Lee.
The River Lee.
Indeed, the Lee, the fabled waters of which the people of Cork blame for so much.
You mean their unique, colourful character?
We say spadgy.
Yes, I've heard that. The spadgy character of Cork.
For all of Ireland is spadgy, and Cork is the spadgiest of all. We have the only stretch of straight road in all of Ireland, running, or as we say, fleeing, between Cork and Ballincollig, and this goes along between the tallest building and the longest building in all of Ireland, on the banks of the fabled waters of the Lee. Coincidence? I don't think so.
Yeah, okay. But tell us of young Finbar Lynch. He worked with you?
He did indeed. Though he wasn't long with us, he mysteriously disappeared.
Oh?
You see that tree over there?
Oh, yes.
Well, there used to be 1.5 miles of road between us here and that tree there, weaving back and forth. So we were digging it all up and straightening it, moving the earth this way and that. See over there?
Oh, yes, that mound?
Well, let me think now. It's either this one or the one over there. I'm after forgetting, but one of them is anyway from the roadworks, and the other is from the them.
Ah, yes, the Celtic fairy spirits, the Sheev.
Shh! You don't want to say that.
I don't?
No. Not here, you don't.
Okay. So this young Finbar, he worked right here.
Well, work is a word that we use to encompass our many activities with the council. Finbar was only a young lad then, you see, so he was what we called a dog's body.
Dog's body? What is that exactly?
Well, it was his job, you see, to run along the road into whatever town was nearby and bring us the paper, jammy dodgers, Barry's tea, 20 majors, the lotto, or whatever we need for our work processes in the shed.
Shed?
Our base of operations.
I see. So Finbar actually left the shed.
Yes. Now, one day, it was his last day with us, I'll never forget it. We were near Guganbarra then, in the back of beyond, like.
Guganbarra is the,
The source of the River Lee, where St. Finbar taught long ago, and before that, it was a sacred place to the Celts. Dolmens all about, standing stones, ohms, holy wells, pubs, and other sacred sites.
I see, so Finbar was there.
Indeed he was. It was about 9 in the morning, and it was time to start thinking about lunch, so I said, Finbar? Says I, Finbar, come over here to me. There's a good lad. Now, get us all some chips, right? Here's a $5. So, off he goes, and... Oh, well, there you are.
There we are, what?
Well, he never returned. Oh. Or, no. It couldn't have been him. Unless he was completely transfigured, but you see, that's not possible.
Transfigured?
You see, the lad who returned... His hair was all white, and his voice was deep and mesmeric. The only word for it, mesmeric. Hypnotic, spellbinding, bizarre, mad-like.
That's 5 words.
Oh, yes.
So you don't think it was actually the same person?
No.
Oh.
This silver-haired lad's skin was clear of spots, and Finbar, well, God love the state of him, he was shocking. Now, I know that puberty can affect a young lad, but this was all the space of an hour. Very odd indeed. You might even say it was magical.
Magical?
Magic boy. There he was. This lad. This silver-tongued devil, wearing that silver thing around his neck. Brightly shining it was, too.
Ah, the silver talisman, the medallion he always wore that became his trademark.
The same. Well, the light was shining all round him, a rainbow arching over his head, and that voice, oh, that voice, like an angel's or a god's, I'll never forget it.
And then what happened?
Well, as I said, we didn't know who it was at all, so I said, please don't hurt us. If we're after disturbing anything of yours, we'll put it back. I was bowing down, like.
Bowing down?
Oh, yes. I thought maybe we were after disturbing the good people, like, you know, that way.
What way?
That way? Well, forget it. Them. Well, we'll just say no more. It's a Celtic thing. Anyway, he starts laughing, and he says, lads, do you not recognise me? And we said, no, who are you? And he said, it's me, sure, Finbar. And we said, get away out of that, you're not Finbar, there's no way, like. And he says, well, it is, sure. Who else would it be? And then I said, well, if you're Finbar, where's me chips? And that's when we had a bit of a punch-up, like, and he left.
I'd been in Papa's store in the Shetlands. There was long, complicated reasons for being there involving a misunderstanding husband and some very bad acid.
Theo Dorgan, poet and leader of the 1975 Cork insurrection.
I'd heard stories coming out of Cork of this extraordinary poet and came back and standing on the corner by Woodford Burns one day, I think it was Jerry Murphy. Was it Jerry Murphy or Greg Delanty? Sort of stood back in awe as this figure went past. And so that's the silver-tongued devil, you know.
What about his place in Irish poetry?
Galway Kinnell, the American poet, says that writing a poem is like being struck by lightning. You only get struck by lightning 5 or 6 times in your life. The trick is to keep going out into the bad weather. But lightning strikes, I mean, it flashed in Micro Disney, 5 go down to the sea. You know, lightning hit Cork quite a few times. The silver-tongued devil was possessed by lightning and was as ruthlessly discarded by lightning when lightning had found somewhere else to strike, as if he had never existed.
Fortunately, the history of the first appearances of the Silver-Tongued Devil in his hometown are preserved in the Silver-Tongued Devil Museum and Visitors Centre located in Fitzgerald's Park, alongside the mystic waters of the River Lee. It is here that a special multimedia display attempts to put across to the thousands of visitors each week the sheer hysterical devotion to the Silver-Tongued Devil among the people. Here is a portion of him appearing on Cork's most popular radio phone-in show, Cork Out and Without.
Hello to you all, this is Steve Bulging and you're listening to Cork Out and Without. We have with us today a man, a Cork man, a true Celtic poet who is, I'm sure, about to take the world by storm. He is, of course, the Silver-Tongued Devil. Good day to you, sir.
Good day.
Yeah, well, what can I say? Let's say, I'm sorry, dear listeners, it's just I'm in the presence of this man and it's... I never felt the likes of it, to be honest with you.
Just relax, Steve. You're doing fine.
I can't help but noticing that little silver charm you're wearing there.
Oh, this? I always wear this around my neck. It makes me who I am.
Right, yeah. Well, you know, it's lovely.
Thank you.
Well, right, I can see that your phones are all flashing, like, with the many callers trying to have a word with you. So, let's take the calls. This is Bernice from Blarney Street. Hello, Bernice.
Hello? Is this Cork out and without?
It is I.
Is he there with you?
He is.
Can I speak to him?
You can, of course.
Hello? Is it yourself, the so-called silver-tongued devil?
Hello, Bernice.
Come here to me. I have a bone to pick with you.
What is it?
I just want to say that my daughter has... Well, she's just 16.
16. That's lovely.
Yes, and it's absolutely shocking what she's after doing with your picture.
Oh?
You're a disgrace, so you are.
Am I?
You may think you're one of them heathen Celtic poets dashing about, sowing your wild oats wherever you please, but we're decent people here in Blarney Street, so we are.
I hear such beauty in your voice, Bernice.
You what?
It is carried on the air, across the sky, like undulating waves.
Well, go on.
I'm thinking of you, Bernice. Now, how brave you are.
Yes.
I see you. I see you now.
Oh, yes.
I feel like we're connecting.
Oh.
Do you feel that? Me, you, softly and slowly.
Yes. Oh.
Good, Jenny.
My voice flickers over you and pinches like the fingers of the wind, stroking the white sands along the strand of Inchitoni.
Oh, no, God, don't stop, for God's sake.
Look, this is a family show, in all fairness, like them.
Reach out
They're
to
waving at me
each
through the
other.
glass now.
The boundaries of Cork could not hold him for long. He was, of course, destined to give himself to the world. And so he soon ended up on the national stage of Ireland in Dublin's fair city.
You can tell the tourists in Dublin because they're the only ones who use the litter bins.
Dublin, beneath all the litter, is actually quite boring. Beneath all the litter, like.
Dublin, you know, it used to be a good place to live before the Africans and all the Chinese arrived and started creating jobs for themselves.
Yes, Dublin, the national capital of Ireland. While Cork is curvaceous and voluptuous in its human and geographical topography, Dublin, in contrast, is pretty much flat, has stains on its trousers, smokes too much, and aside from its arrogant pride at having the size and population of an average town in New Jersey, is truly quite unremarkable.
I like to smash up bicycles for no reason.
Like Hollywood, the creative talents and visionaries which Ireland so generously gives the world almost invariably come from counties outside the culturally desolate capital.
See, when the silver-tongued devil burst on the scene, there was no scene. Well, not a scene as we know it today. There was a view, a poetry view rather than a scene.
Poet Patrick Chapman well remembers the explosive impact the silver-tongued devil made on the national consciousness.
Then the silver-tongued devil came along and inspired us all. I know he inspired me to get into poetry. Apart from that, I figured the hours are good, and you are your own boss. Plus you get girls, lots of girls. That's what they told me when I applied to be a poet down at the job centre. They said there's nothing Irish women like more than a successful poet with a steady job. And I figured 1 out of 3 wasn't bad. And so when I got into poetry for the hours and the respect of my peers and the women, I found that I had the hours all right, but the silver-tongued devil, or STD if you will, he had all the women and therefore he had the respect of my peers.
On any given day, at any given hour, somewhere in Ireland, there is a fleadh in full swing. There are fleadhs or festivals for every group, occasion and excuse. Here is a sample of the fleadhs held in Ireland just this past weekend.
Traditional dancing 8-car pilot at the Crossroads Fleadh.
Writers' drinking weekend, big Crayola Fleadh.
Celtic film naval geezers Fleadh.
Celtic music Fleadh. Tweeds and jumpers, hand-woven plastic bullets crafts Fleadh.
Alternative New Age Thai European as traditional medicines unwashed crusties Fleadh.
The children of Irish clerics Vatican family reunion Fleadh.
Diverse persons gathering in the doorway just to get out of the rain Fleadh.
Carved potato figurine moving statue high jump Fleadh.
Lonely seniors reading newspapers in libraries Fleadh.
The Fleadh groupies overdosing on Fleadh Fleadh.
But without question, the biggest fleadh of the year is the annual Poetic Champions Composing Poetry Slam fleadh. And it was at this that the silver-tongued devil exploded onto the national stage.
Seeing him when he was in his prime, it was quite something. It was like seeing Elvis back from the dead in a band with Kurt Cobain and Joe Dolan. It was like being the ice in Dylan Thomas's last scotch. It was like as if John Lennon had ducked.
A moment fit to die in, making every inch of earth a bed to lie in. You are beautiful, alive, electric and young, and I am the devil with a silver tongue. Oh, wait! Help! No, don't touch my silver charm! Leave go! Stop violating it!
Typically, it was the silver-tongued devil in the right place at the right time saying the right words with the right voice. Again, luck of the Irish or something more. In one stroke, that appearance secured for him complete dominance of the Irish poetry scene, the effects of which are still felt to this day. But his rise to dominance in his native country also evoked that other favorite pastime of the Irish, namely what is known locally as backbiting, a feature of the festering suspicious resentments, petty rivalries, bitter jealousies, the brine, if you will, which flavors the waters of the Irish soul. Nowhere was this brine so strong as among Irish academia.
Well, of course, the silver-tongued devil had some minor merit, but only in the shallow sense of changing world history.
Senator David Norris, member of the Senate of Ireland and lecturer in English at Trinity University.
Real literature, the kind of refined writing that academics can build careers around interpreting, requires a condom-like protective layer of draconian copyright laws in order to prevent its accessibility by the common man. I'm afraid the estate of the silver-tongued devil never grasped this. Perhaps it was because he was from Cork.
How would that affect it?
Well, Cork, you see, it's bound too tightly to their unwashed, earthy Celtic tradition. Perhaps it's the fabled waters of the Lee. I'm not sure. Such a pity.
Why is it a pity?
Oh, so many academics made redundant. You see, we inform the masses of their opinions and tell them what to feel, as it were. Popular writing, like the silver-tongued devil, that is adored and known off by heart by the common man, requires none of this. Hence, it's not very good from an academic point of view. You see?
I think so.
But the silver-tongued devil was very handsome, I will give him that. With that open shirt and that silver charm resting on his muscular bronze chest. And that voice, oh, that voice. I play his record all the time in Cyprus.
Having conquered Ireland, the United Kingdom was next.
Despite being Irish, the silver-tongued devil, of course, completely radicalized the place of poetry in the consciousness of humankind.
Dr. Donald Oxford, Emeritus Professor of English Literature and author of The Silver-Tongued Devil, a study of the silver-tongued devil.
What I believe he brought to poetry was something that had been lacking for over a generation.
And what was that?
A relevance to human life.
Oh.
Also, he was sexy.
Sexy?
Oh, very.
And this is important?
But of course, that's why people become poets.
Oh, the sex?
Yes, that and the money. All poets of the Celtic tradition, of course, score sexually all the time. But the silver-tongued devil was just right off the graph. I don't think there was ever a man or a woman in his presence who wasn't drawn towards him. I know I was.
Again, the silver-tongued devil was eerily in the right place at the right time. Within hours of his first reading, he became the most talked-about man in all of London. Being hailed by the English as the poet of the century, in turn secured the silver-tongued devil's dominance at home in Ireland, since the Irish, traditionally, cannot let themselves appreciate the value of anything or anyone until the English tell them it's good. After conquering England and Ireland, there remained only the rest of the civilized world, and America. And this is precisely what happened.
At the beginning, there was no intention of working together. It was just a chance meeting at a party in London. I was on tour at the time.
The tempestuous and controversial performance artist, Laurie Cummins, co-creator of the smash hit concept album of tone poems, The Silver-Tongued Devil.
He had come straight from a poetry reading in Cambridge, and he was hot. Everyone wanted to meet him.
And you approached him?
Yeah, but not because I was trying to boost my career or bourgeois standing or anything.
No?
No. I just wanted to have sex with him. Well, we all did, of course, but with me it was definitely special. I felt this strange urge to be near him. I know everyone says that, but he and I clicked right away.
Clicked?
Definitely. We clicked 3 or 4 times that evening. And then later, when I was lacing up my Doc Martens, I said, and I don't know what made me say it, but something made me say it. I said, hey, I know. Let's do an album together. I'll do the music, you read your poetry. And then he gave me that, you know, that famous smile of his while he was twiddling his thing.
His thing?
You know, that little silver charm he always wore.
Ah, all right. And so, what was recording the album like?
Intense. He was, well, beyond.
Beyond?
Beyond.
Beyond what?
Words.
How so?
I can't say it. It's beyond words.
But can you not try to
Look,
articulate?
You can't contain this. You can't box this in with a box, or label it with a label, or stick a label on a box. You know, you're killing art.
No, you misunderstand.
Oh, don't tell me I misunderstand. I am Laurie Cummings, the performance artist.
Well, yes, of course, but see,
the
I'm
last truly original record that made it to #1, that broke the rules, that took us beyond the pat formulas, was my record.
Yeah, well, that's my point. You see, I just want to
Even
analyze.
his breathing, his snoring was poetry. You know, it penetrated you, filled you inside. His voice, the words, they possessed you in ways you cannot possibly understand.
I know.
Don't insult me.
I'm not. I just need to.
You know, you have serious male aggression issues.
No, I don't. I just wanted to ask you
You are
about.
violating my creative mind space.
Please, don't stop hitting. Ow! Ow! Please.
This is what I think of your staid, lifeless, spineless, soulless, boring Rolling Stone magazine.
Wait, no, I'm not with the Rolling Stone magazine. I'm with the radio. I'm with the
Spouting
radio.
more lies of your corporate masters.
No, I'm not. I'm with the radio. Don't hit me. See, I'm with the radio. The radio. Not
Wait a
the Rolling
second. Hold on just a second. Let me look in my diary here. Oh, the radio guy at 2 and the magazine guy at 3. I thought it was the other way around.
Oh, do you have a tissue or something?
What?
I think I'm bleeding here. It's on the
here.
carpet and everything.
Let me see.
What? No, I'm all right. It's just I just need a tissue to wrap over that.
But
That's all.
you're shaking.
Yeah, I'm just dizzy. That's all.
Well, let's take a shower.
What? Thanks to Laurie Cummins' insistence that the tape recorder continuously roll, I'm able to play a rare outtake of the fantastically creative compositional process. And if you listen closely, you'll note that this recording may also be revealing something else.
Okay, come on. Are we ready? Right, let's do something.
I'm ready, Laurie.
You're always ready.
I know, I can't help it.
Let's try something fast this time. Is that okay?
I can do it fast, I can do it slow, I can do it any way you like.
Oh, I know you can.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
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 Is this another song where they're going to sing it, you know?
This is a song, I think.
1, 2, 3, 4.
No one inside.
Wave on wave.
No one inside.
Wave on wave.
Just you and me.
Wave on wave.
Let's do it. Wave on wave. Let's dance in the sea.
Wave on wave.
Wave on wave.
Oh, God, where's me charm? Where's me charm?
What happened?
Oh, God, I got. Oh, no, it's here somewhere. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, Bobby. Oh, no. Oh, God. Oh, God, no. Where is it, me charm? Oh, no. Oh, no.
What's going on in there?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
What happened to the silver-tongued devil?
What's going on?
It fell off.
I'd like to know this.
Don't move anyone. I have to find it. It fell off the chair.
What is going on?
Here it is. Oh, what a relief. Oh.
This is my session. I really like to know what's
It's
going on.
okay. Just everyone relax. It's cool, baby.
Yeah? What?
I just felt the need to spice up the stimulation, didn't you, baby?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Come on, everybody. Come on, guys. Let's do it.
Wait! Do you know what this needs?
What?
The sea. The sound of the sea. Can we do that?
Mark.
Yeah?
Yeah, give us the sound effect of the ocean. Come on.
Just go with the feeling, babies. You got it.
Here's your ocean.
I am the devil with the silver tongue.
The album The Silver-Tongued Devil was released without fanfare, and within 3 weeks, it and the single release, Seduction by the Sea, were #1 in the charts.
On the wind pulled in by the winter tide, on the stony lip of the sea's stripped bride, first fingertip to fingertip, closer we slide.
Like everything about the Silver-Tongued Devil, the gripping spell of this record cannot be explained. There were some objections, of course, from arts columnists, politicians, religious leaders, and other malignant groupings, all naturally suspicious of the liberating powers of poetry. But nothing could take the place of the Silver-Tongued Devil in the hearts of the people. He became the darling of America. At the height of his fame, he appeared on Rahita Lewinsky, America's most popular afternoon television talk show.
Yes, thank you. We have something very special for all of you today. Now, if you're a member of my book club, you know that the #1 bestseller in America for the past 2 weeks has been this little book here. Yes! Yes! That's right. You know what I'm talking about. A poetry book has never, ever made the bestseller list. Ever! Yet this book here is #1. Yes! 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 And that's not all. Because it's now out as a record. And that's #1 in the charts. Everything about this amazing phenomenon is unexplainable, even inexplicable. Let's meet him. Because we have with us today, here in the studio, the man, the poet, the voice we all only know as the Silver-Tongued Devil.
Should we start?
Maybe you can get them to stop.
Yes, I'll try. Please stop. Thank you. I'm so very happy to be here with you today and to have this chance to be alone with you like this. Because you are all so beautiful, and I really mean that. I love your hair. Now, go on, Rahita.
How do you explain? I'm sorry, I can't even think of the words.
That's okay, it's okay.
How do you explain you?
Me? I'm just a poet.
What is your secret?
My secret?
Yes.
It's this.
Yes, that little charm round your neck. It's on the cover of your book. Is that some kind of Irish thing?
Yes, it's Celtic.
What is it?
It's a tongue. See?
All right, a silver tongue. Silver-Tongued Devil.
Yes.
I get it. That's beautiful. You always wear that, don't you?
Yes, I never take it off. Even when we take everything off, I don't take it off.
Right.
It's the source of my gift.
He's gorgeous, isn't he? He's such a kidder. Such a great sense of humor. So very warm.
Yes.
Yes. Now, questions from the audience. You there in the second row.
Hi.
Hello.
I just want to ask.
Of course.
Can you just say some of your poetry?
Of course. You are beautiful, alive, electric, and young. And I am the devil with a silver tongue.
The silver-tongued devil had arrived. He was awarded America's highest cultural honor when he played himself on an episode of The Simpletons cartoon series.
What'll you have there, you old silver-tongued devil with your tongue of silver, you?
Just give me a muff beer.
Hey, I know you! You're that Irish poet!
You know it.
Wow, that rhymed!
It was 1 year to the day when the silver-tongued devil first spoke his verse in public that he returned home to his native city. And it was here that tragedy struck. Any Corkman today can tell you where they were and what they were doing that fateful evening.
We interrupt this programme to bring you a special report from our despondent Cork correspondent.
Are we on? Are you sure? Oh, ladies and gentlemen, there are no words to express or describe what is just after happening here on the grounds of Fitzgerald's Park beside the fabled waters of the River Lee. Our news team was here to cover the triumphant return of the silver-tongued devil to his native home just a few moments ago at 8:17 p.m. He was moving through the crowd of people. Please bear with me, I'm very upset. Do we have the tape? Quick, go to the tape! Silver-tongued devil, how does it feel to be back in your native city?
It's great. It's absolutely wonderful. I'm so glad to be back home. No, please, leave go. Don't touch me, please. Please, leave go. Please, leave go.
He's after falling in the water!
The River Lee was searched, and all of Cork Harbour and the Irish Sea from as far as Mizen Head to Baltimore. But strangely, no body was ever found. So what happened? Many have their theories. One, though utterly incredible, does seem to fit the facts.
The man calling himself the silver-tongued devil was obviously possessed.
Healer and high priestess of the jerking circle of the green Celtic crystal, Cuiva Nimorku.
Now, the power of the poet has always been feared in Ireland. The constant sex, the wealth, the scathing satires, the need to lie down in a darkened room with a towel over your head. The silver-tongued devil fits this pattern perfectly.
But how can you be certain?
The same way we're certain about all of the magical arts of the Celts.
Archaeological evidence?
Not at all. Mostly it's psychic intuition.
Psychic intuition?
Feelings.
So your beliefs about the ancient Celts are all based on...
Feelings, but real feelings.
Real feelings? But what about real proof?
Well, there is this.
That little clear stone on a string?
It can take us to the other world.
Now?
Yes, now. Let us go. Do you want to go?
Do I need a jacket?
No. Just clear your mind.
Okay.
We are opening the other world.
We are?
Yes. There. Cadéanamid festa gan aimend, tá dearna gailtear lá. Níl trach der gil cash ná teilech, sní clink for a clang gebrach. Now, ask your question.
Okay, let's see, what? No, who was the silver-tongued devil?
Good question.
Oh, thank you.
Now, the answer. The fabled tongue of the arch-druid in Philly, me of the Miletians, was cut off and buried beside the fabled waters of the River Lee.
Why was his tongue cut off?
The High King feared his verse. Also, he was very annoying.
Oh?
For me was, in fact, the god Lu in human form.
Let me guess, the god of poetry, right?
Yes. Me's tongue was dipped in silver, buried under the ground, under the sky, under a mound, under a dolmen beside a tree on which a raven sat who cackled and gave birth to the River Lee, making the place a sacred source of druidic wisdom, the poetic gifts, and of course...
Water?
Yes. Water. Fabled water. And there at the source of the Lee, the tongue remained buried, protected by the She, the spirits of the other world.
And Cork County Council.
Yes, they helped as well. And there it remained, pouring its magic into the fabled waters, until someone
A young man, perhaps, stole the silver tongue from the she, placed it round his neck, and found poetry forever on his unworthy lips.
I see. So it was the little silver tongue medallion all along, and in the end...
It was drawn back full circle and returned to the fabled waters. There, enough. No more. Ask me no more.
Well, that was certainly interesting. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thanks.
One more thing, Mr. Merkin.
Yes?
Our arrangement.
What?
Public Radio National, coast to coast.
Oh, yes. Of course. Go ahead.
Is it running?
Well, yes, it better be. Let's see. Yeah, it's running.
Good. You can find out more about the tradition of the... Oh, pardon me.
That's okay. Go ahead. Try it again.
You can find out more about the tradition of the Celtic way and the jerking circle of the green Celtic crystal by reading my book, The Tradition of the Celtic Way by Cuivany Warracu. It's published in paperback by Looney Press. That's The Tradition of the Celtic Way by me, Cuivany Warracu. Thank you. There, did you get that?
Yes.
You won't cut that bit out now, right?
No, it'll stay in.
Good.
You know, in some ways, it's more revealing than your crystal.
Oh, thank you.
In an effort to tie up the loose ends, I managed to catch up to a young Corkman with red hair named Finbar Lynch, to see if I could clear up the mystery and test Jerry Murphy's theory that Finbar Lynch and the Silver-Tongued Devil were somehow one and the same person.
Excuse me. Hey, excuse me. Are you Finbar Lynch?
Who wants to know?
I do.
Who are you?
I'm Eddie Merkin, and I'm with the American Public National Radio, okay? And I just have a few questions. Please, can you stop?
Look, go away, I've nothing to say.
But I just need to ask you something.
Leave me alone, I'm a nobody, all right?
But Jerry Murphy says you are the Silver-Tongued Devil.
Come here to me now, right? That Jerry Murphy, right? He is...
the poet laureate of the People's Republic of Cork.
That may be, but he's also a liar, a chancer, a scumbag, marathon runner, and a complete messer. Ask anyone who knows him. Now leave me alone.
Wait, are you?
Are I what?
Are you the Silver-Tongued Devil?
No! I'm the Queen of England! Now back off and don't be half
Wait! No, listen! I need to talk to you about this. It's quite important. Look, my whole life has been spent looking for you. I know you're him, right? You're him?
I am the devil with the silver tongue.
So there you have it. The history and mystery of someone or something the world only ever knew as the Silver-Tongued Devil.
On the wind pulled in by the winter tide, on the stony lip of the sea's stripped bride, first fingertip to fingertip, closer we slide.
No, just stall it there. Now, the next caller's Jacinta from Drawn Abroad. Jacinta, you there?
Yes, I am. Silver-Tongued Devil, I love you, and I know that you love me. Your words are for me.
No, Jacinta, no. Can we go to a break? Can we?
Just feel it, baby.
We're going to take a commercial now. If you just... And we're closing the phone lines after. Would you stop?
You're prepared not to like somebody like that because you get the hype beforehand and you say, well, get out of it, like. But he had this amazing quality that just blew all your objections away and you were just entranced by him.
Back then, you see, Cork was very, very depressed, really. Suicidal. Chronic. There was chronic everywhere. Not at all like Cork today, where the people are happy all the time.
Really?
Yeah. Sure, they've made us cultural capital of Europe, right? And sure, we always knew that. And we're not going to give the capital back either.
He thought he was a druid. He was going to go out and live in a tent in Gugan Barra. And sure, isn't that where the Silver-Tongued Devil ended up, or started from?
Long ago, poets, and not just the Celtic ones, actually spoke in ways the average person could understand. Really? Oh, yes, that's true. Still, you know, people will swallow anything. The more indecipherable, the better it must be, especially if you've got family connections, Morty.
Well, a life without poetry, you know, is just incomprehensible to me. You know, it's just so crazy. I mean, but then you have something like the Silver-Tongued Devil come along, and it just blows, well, your mind.
I am the devil with the silver tongue.
Since its disappearance, poetry has returned to its darkened, neglected corner in the recesses of the mind of the world.
Only in Cork am I made to bleed for my art!
You've been listening to The Silver-Tongued Devil from Crazy Dog Audio Theatre's Diabolic Playhouse. Written, directed and produced by Roger Gregg and featuring David Murray, Susan Zaloof, Anne Byrne, Morgan Jones, Roger Gregg, Maurice O'Donoghue, Marcus Lamb, Zia Moher, with contributions from Patrick Chapman, Jerry Murphy, David Norris, Roger McGough, the Gaiety School of Acting class of 2004, and Theo Dorgan. Visit us at crazydogaudiotheatre.com.
Devil with the silver tongue.